Now, quickly I'll identify just 3 things and then I'll open it up to some questions and answers if you'd like. Part-time legislature. I think after serving for 5 years, that is one of the answers.
Yep.
Now, thank you. Part-time legislature works. It works in many other states. I'm going to ask, how many states do you believe have full-time legislatures?
Too many.
Someone raise their hand. Someone raise their hand. Make me guess.
10.
There are 4 states that have full-time legislatures. California, financially in trouble. New York, financially in trouble. Pennsylvania, financially in trouble. Michigan, financially in trouble. I do make a nexus there, a connection between those. So I believe, and I will be introducing a part-time legislature bill the first day of session next year. And if it doesn't pass, doesn't get out of committee, then I'm going to take it to the streets. We're going to get an initiative statewide. And from the polling I've done, I've spent a little of my own money, it's over 74% accepted. People realize we have too much government, government's grown too big, it imposes too many laws, too many regulations on us, and it's consuming too much of our tax dollars, our precious capital that we need to grow businesses in California. The other is doing away with the high-speed rail. And the last thing, yes, high-speed rail is a train to nowhere except bankruptcy. It started at $20 billion, it grew to $43 billion, and it's now estimated at $98 billion. Ridiculous. The last thing I want to talk about is an initiative that is already qualifying right now. The signatures have been collected, it's been turned into the Attorney General, and that's paycheck protection. If you're not familiar with it, paycheck protection, in this case, as this initiative, which will be on the ballot next year, will actually remove the ability of unions through the government employment program, as in either a city, a county, or the state, of collecting union dues. They'll have to, like the AAA, your association that you pay dues to, or any other club or organization you pay dues to, go to you directly and not use the heavy hand of the government, local government agency, city, county, or state, to collect straight out of your paycheck the dues. So that is an initiative that I encourage all of you to support. And the election is coming up next year. With that, I just will open it up to questions and questions, and I'll try to answer all of them. But before that, I wanted to say Merry Christmas to all of you, and it was an honor to be here. And we start every Monday and Thursday on the floor of the Assembly with the Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer. But the difference is significant between being here with people that realize the principles and values, like I said at the beginning, that built this country are the ones that we should stand by, and those that, unfortunately, I serve with too many who don't believe in those same principles and values. So, with that said, yes, sir, in the back with a red vest. Yes, it is red.
You're in the minority.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, you're in the minority. How can we help you be effective in Sacramento?
Thank you. First, get everyone you can to register to vote. Make sure that, and you can be a little selective on making sure that those are the right people to register to vote when you're asking them. But make sure you get everyone to register to vote, and then make sure they get out and vote. Get them informed. And as I just said, support initiatives like paycheck protection, whether it's passing them around at your church, organizations like this, to get them on the ballot. We have a wonderful, I believe, real downright grassroots ability in our beautiful state. I love America, and I love my state just as much, I have to say. And I don't like its direction, that's why I went up there. But the fact that we have the initiative process, that you can go to the streets and override us. That's how we're controlling them with Prop 13 on property tax. We're controlling the 2/3 for any tax increases. How just last election, we were successful in adding any fees. So that's the best 3 I can come up immediately with you. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, going to apply to teachers also?
As long as those teachers are working for a government entity. The question was, will the paycheck protection apply to union teachers' dues? Teachers pay their dues through the local government-run school districts, and therefore, yes, it would apply to them. And it would, the numbers numerically, I'll share with you from the studies I've seen done in the paycheck protection passed in Washington, went down from obviously a mandated 100% compliance if you're a government employee and you're a union member and closed shop state, not a right to work state like 27 other states are. But the union dues participation went to 60, went to 40, and in Washington, D.C., it dropped, or Washington, state of Washington dropped below 20% of those that were willing to voluntarily pay their union dues when they were sent the bill. Yes, sir.
How large is the unfunded liability?
It's a question that I have asked my both legislative analyst's office and others. The question is whether you're going to include pension or other items, but it's over $75 billion, probably closer to 110.
What's our gross state domestic product?
Gross domestic production of the state of California? I don't know. I'd heard it, but I can't recall right now. I can tell you that our budget annually was as high in 2007 as $104 billion, and we are at $84 billion, and we need to keep shrinking. Yes, sir.
Governor Brown is talking about increasing our sales tax again, and there was one other thing I saw in the headline, but I can't remember. Sunday speak, the income tax. Increasing both.
Yes.
So,
Governor Brown is talking about filling the hole because he continues to spend, and believe it or not, he continues to grow government no matter what he says. And he's talking about adding 3 additional categories of income tax. You know, we have 7 categories of income tax in the state of California. And he's adding another 1% to a certain group from 250 to 300,000, and then another 1.5%, and anyone over $500,000, he's adding 2% more income tax. The problem with that is that you're driving a lot of those owners of small businesses out of the state of California. The 1% that pay a large portion, and it's about 20%, pay 1%. 1% of the population pays about 20% of the taxes. We had 50,000 of them in 2007. We're down to 30,000 now. So we've lost 20,000 in that category. And if you take the top 2 brackets as it stands now, we've lost 297,000 people. And that's from someone making 90,000 to anything, the largest number you can think of.
Last question.
Yes, Dr. Gravano. The gentleman that invited me here. He gets the honor of the last question.
You have, as I understand it, 52 Democrats and 28 Republicans?
Correct.
So you're very close to losing the
2-seat margin. There are new lines with the districts, and we're hopeful to gain 2 or 3. We're not going to say we're going to take over the majority. This is a battle that started a long time ago, and we've got to win it incrementally.